It just crashed. My computer couldn't handle it. I don't know what it was. I don't think it's the Godot. I think it was anything between the overlay plus Godot running at the same time, maybe. I don't know. This happens every now and then, which is kind of annoying. It's possible that my computer overheated. I really need to change my stream setup to my desktop instead of working off of my laptop. I feel it's more the reason. Every time I crash, I'm like, yeah, I should probably do that. Well, either way, I'm back. So sorry. That means probably ads gonna run soon. Yikes. Oh, that's right. That's funny. I think I actually never made an announcement. Live. Oops. Been live for a while. Twitch. YouTube. I guess this is good because I can share the new link now without thinking like having to transfer a bunch of people over. There you go. Hey, I'm live again. Sorry, everyone. The bitrate suffered. I might have had some issues with the... Hey, yo, says Kinexus. Hey, Kinexus. I guess you coming on crashed my system, apparently. Okay. Let's see if I can summon people. Okay. That's gonna run. I'm gonna let it run. Let's see. Magic Food Bar says, hi, Ezra and everyone else. Hey, Magic Food Bar. Welcome. You missed the crash. I was streaming for an hour. So I have another video right now, I think, that people are probably lurking at. Not sure what's going to happen on that one. It's always a pain to try to transfer people over after crashing. I wonder if I can still live chat there. Give them the link. Ooh. It's laggy. Yeah, no. The live chat is not available anymore. So I can't tell them. Oh, well. 'Tis the world that we live in. Okay. Well, either way, Magic Food Bar is here, so it's okay. Connexus says, before you get going, how interested would you be in helping me troubleshoot as dialogue a little bit? Totally cool if you don't want to be my life support tech on stream. Yeah, no, why not? I could do that. I mean, we just got to our... Darko says that was unfortunate. Yeah, no. Do I risk generating again? I keep generating and then it eventually crashes. Let me see if there's any orphan nodes before I go crazy again. There are orphan nodes. Interesting. How many? No. Oh, these are just pooling then. It's not really orphan. Okay. Doesn't seem like it's going too crazy. FPS? Yeah, no, it's okay. I think it was just that. This one is freaking out, but it's not that big a deal. I think we're okay here. All right, let's do some debugging on easy dialogue then. Kinexus, what's your struggle? What are you struggling with the dialogue plugin? For those of you who do not have the context to what we're talking about, I created this thing called Easy Dialogue, which I open sourced and made it available on GitHub. Shared it on my YouTube. Once again, go to my YouTube. Wow. I really lost everyone. Oh. But yeah. Well, until Kinexus says something, I'll continue working on this. Okay, so we added the map onto the space map, or the POIs onto the space map here inside as children. Dynamo says you can't get rid of me. Yeah, you're still here. I see you. Yeah, you're on this left corner here. You know what would be fun to do if we do like a horse racing where these like characters are like running, and then you can use like your abilities to like trip people, and then if you win something. That'd be interesting. Okay, ad's about to run because I just restarted that thing. But I'm going to read here. Connect says, I'm trying to use the start dialog function, but when I point it to a resource that has a dialog JSON file, it gives me an error, cannot pass a value of type string as dictionary. Whether I pass it in a JSON object directly or do the JSON object with .data. Sorry, was trying to be concise as possible. No, it's okay. I'll answer probably once the ad is over because it's about to start right now. Let me think about what this means though. Meanwhile, I mean, I have the dialog plugin here too, so I think we can test it here. I can show it to you on this project as opposed to changing my project. So let's see, get that started on my main project. Oh my gosh, am I crashing again? No, good. Thought I was about to crash again. Dialog. We have a dialog manager here. Okay. Darko says stream avatars from Steam have interactable from Twitch chat. Yeah, I know. I actually, Revi is a friend of mine. He knows the person who created stream avatar, so I was working on it, but at the same time I was like, I kind of want to customize more. That's why I created my own. And this, I made this with Godot. Like right now, this you can still interact with it, right? Like first of all, the way you get the stream avatar is through redemption. So you got to plant a seed like this, redeem it, then you get a little seed, and then you can water them 9 times to get a chance of getting one of these available berry folk. You can see the probability on top, and there's a shiny version for each one of them. And then there are commands like kick. There's commands like jump. Throw doesn't do anything, but you shoot little bullet here. And then you can lurk to sit down. Of course, you can change berry to into different mode. You can do berries to see, and then you can gift different berries to other people too. So it's got some interactability, but I was just saying that it would be cool to have a different game modes. I was just kind of thinking about game modes. In any case, I'm still waiting. It says 1 minute and 50 seconds left on the ads, so I don't know. Connexus says, I'll give you some additional context while I'm in ads. Okay, well, I'm going to have to read. I'm going to have to read afterwards, probably. Let's see. Basically, when I print out, I can kind of guess what you meant to put here because it's dots. I print JSON. And when I print dialog data, it gives me the JSON data directly from the Baldur's Gate sample, since that's what I'm using to test. Oh, you're using the Baldur's Gate sample to test it? It's giving you an error? That's concerning. If the sample project is not working. You sure are you on the most recent? Oh, I'm guessing you're on the most recent commit. Can't doubt that. Let's see. So let's compare, shall we? So this is my dialogue logic here. And I implemented it the same way. For the start dialog, I passed the JSON file to the start dialog. Like directly. I don't do .data. I just go the JSON file. Because the .data is handled during the load. So that's all that's required. Only thing I can think of potentially is the issue with the file format. Let me see. It gives me the JSON data directly from your Baldur's Gate, since that's what I'm using to test. Connexus says, maybe it's the way I'm handling the data. If that's all too confusing without the actual project for context, that's totally fine. I don't want to tie you up for too long. No, it's okay, Kinexus. We're taking a look here. So what I'm seeing here with your problem is that you're getting an error that says cannot pass a value of type string as dictionary. Ah, I know what you do. It's not your JSON file. It's not the JSON file. So when you're starting the dialogue, provide the dialog file directly, the JSON file directly, because the whole .data is handled. So pass the JSON file. The whole string to dictionary is one of the parameters, the state parameters. So your second parameter needs to be one of these. What it's saying is that you somehow passed, for your state, you passed the regular string, I think. So your second parameter is actually type string. And then when it came here to convert it to dictionary, it's like, wait a minute, your state is string, not dictionary. It's supposed to be a dictionary. Does that make sense? The dialog file is indiscriminate. It just takes in the JSON and assumes that it's a correctly formatted dialog file. So if you pass in any other JSON file, it'll try and it'll break. But just make sure you pass in the right JSON file. But yeah, your issue is the state. Because the error message says you're passing string where there should be dictionary. Yeah, so your second argument should be empty. Your second argument should look like, if you're not using it, it should look like this. And then the third argument would be start, because that's the starting node, which by default is start. You're defining in that dialog plugin, in that dialog, what is a starting node. So second argument is just dictionary. It needs to be dictionary. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. Sorry, that was confusing. Yeah, there's three arguments. Sorry. Because somehow you need the state. You need to somehow inject the state that your dialog plugin needs to control and handle. Yeah. Sounds great. Test and let me know. Okay, we're back at it. Ugh. It's taking the steam out of the engine. Crashing always kind of sucks. I hate that the crashing just kind of resets the video or resets the stream entirely. Like, it's so discouraging to see like just like the sync of the viewership just because of the crash, and then I have to rework it. Oop, hold on, I'll be back. Okay. Back. Oh, Denimal says, how long have you been working on this particular project? Well, on and off, because, you know, I have 3 other projects that I've been working on. But I started this beginning of the year or last year. So it's been a year since I started it, I would say. So on calendar timeline, a year. Actual engineering hour, I would say about 3 or 4 months, I want to say. That's my theory, at least. Okay. Kinexus has followed up with the screenshot in the general thread on your Discord. Thanks. Yay. Let's see if it worked. Oh, Rafa's talking to me. Let me see. I haven't seen Rafa in a while. All right. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, pretty. Connexus says, thanks for helping on the stream. I got it working. Nice. Wow, it looks great. I love it. I like how you used the dialogue, the Baldur's Gate dialogue example directly. Fun. All right. Oh, hey, tier 1 sub. Thanks, Connexus. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Darko says, first time I see Discord in light mode. Yeah, I'm unique like that. I'm a Discord. I'm a light mode pick me. I am a light mode stan. It may be just because I'm old. I'm like tired of dark modes. Like, okay, so when it was first being like introduced by everybody turning into dark mode was cool. Now everybody's dark mode. I'm like, you know what? I want to feel good looking at my stuff. I noticed that I feel a little bit like down and like, I don't know, low energy and like hoodie over my head, like, grungy type of feel when I'm in dark mode. But when I'm in light mode, I feel like energetic. Daniel says light mode pick me, lol. Yeah. Connexus says, you definitely earned it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Support my dialogue plugin through this way. Yes. Anyways. Okay, well, back to the space map. As much as I love getting distracted. We placed the POI. We're trying to keep the POI mapping within the space of the map, regardless of the size of the map, right? And also, the map is being spread out. So when you first start, what should be considered a starting point? And I think going from left to right feels natural. So I think I would pick the most left object as a starting point regardless. Though there's a... I don't know. So for example, like if I know, oh, I need to go up in order to find something, like do I always go up, or that changing feels okay or not? That's a question. I think it's okay because in space, the whole concept is that the reason the path to your destination on space when you're FTL jumping, faster than light jumping, is because you're relying on the space-time fabric and the ports that is provided by that, which means it's not always the same. You do need to make different approach in order to get to your destination. It's very difficult, right? So we'll do that. Denmo says, wish Godot had an easy way to do themes. I like changing up my code space every once in a while. Oh, yeah. I haven't really messed with it too much because last time I tried, I was like, it doesn't feel very good. It would be nice to be able to customize. But at some point I was like, I don't know. I don't feel like customizing things anymore because like, just give me good design and let me work with it instead of me having to sit down and do everything because that's already a waste of time for me. But yeah, I forgot to get water. I'm going to go get water. By the way, if you hydrate, I think, if you click hydrate redemption, it's supposed to throw a water bottle. I don't know if it stopped working. Let me see. Oh, it still works. There it is. Yeah. So I'm going to hydrate. I just redeemed hydrate for myself so I can get water. I feel broken. All right, let me mute myself. Where's my mute? Hopefully I don't crash while I'm gone. Yeah. Water here. Denmal says, one of the reasons I like VS Code for work, so easy to just download a nice theme and move on. Haha. Yeah. I like it. Ooh, you know what? Yeah, I need to download that plugin. I saw on TikTok where like there was a plugin where people were like typing on Godot editor and it was like shaking the screen and like things were breaking. I forget what it's called. Hold on. Godot editor plugin game. There was one where it's like Godot editor action plugin or something. I don't know what it was called. I saw it. Not me typing in plugging instead of plugin. It means completely different things, I think. Hold on. I don't know if it was Godot or VS Code, actually. Let me see if it's in the SI library. I wanted to try it. Whoa, this one is easy chess. Hey, copyright it. I need to sue this person. You can't use my name. Hold on. Code. Oh. They're freeze. Editor. Not that. Is it ultimate destruction right now? I swear I saw one. Hey, somebody wrote state machine here. Daniel says, glad to derail you is what I'm best at. Exactly. We're enjoying our time. Editor. Action editor, maybe? I guess it's not here. There's something ridiculous where it's like every time you type, it like makes a like gun firing noise. Demo says, I'm just as destructive to others at work. Everybody's talking about Danimal at work once a year. Annual meeting is like, okay, what is wrong with our team? And then we'll go, Danimal's talking too much and distracting us. No, that's what makes it fun. Right? Whatever. I can't find it. Enough distraction. All right, where were we? We were saying we placed all of this. Okay, we're going to find a starting POI now. So we'll say probably while... Oh, it's not. We're in the wrong section. On generate, we randomized and picked. And basically, yeah. For now, leftmost POI is set as a starting POI. The target, I'm not really sure. So we'll go and... I mean, I could use my priority queue here. Or I could just do a iteration and say var starting candidate or start candidate. Call it POI, and it's null right now. And whenever we're adding, we say, hey, if start candidate or, meaning if the start candidate is null, or the start candidate's position X is greater than this new POI display, then we're going to say start candidate is this new POI display. It's warning me. Why? Before assigned? Yeah. Hello? Because I'm checking for nullness. It should be okay. If it is null, assign. If it is not null, okay. You're being silly, Godot. Do I have to do it like this? Is it gonna yell at me still? All right. I guess I have to specify that it is null. Denim says, muhahaha. Yeah. It's okay. Note to self, if I make a game company, I need to hire Denimal. I do need to know how I can start. How do people start company without any money? Do you just get a loan? That means you need to have a business plan for actually making money in order to get a loan. This sucks. This sucks. I just hope that my streaming thing just kind of works out so I don't have to worry about all that. Like, my saving is draining slowly but surely. Life is a interesting thing right now in this time and period. I mean, I call it interesting, but it's more desperate than anything. You know what's funny? Like, I'm so tempted to like go back to my old companies, right? The big tech, because it's just so much money. And as longer it goes, my will of sticking to my gun of like, I don't want to go back to the evil companies that are supporting genocide or whatever and BS employee treatment is weakening. And also, not as many people are as lucky as I am. But this is a daily struggle in my brain, I think. Not me creating this video. I think it's one of my bigger videos, which kind of derailed my channel for momentarily because people are like, oh, this is a tech career channel. And then people go, oh, never mind. Let's see. Yeah, why I won't go back to big tech job. Not a good time. Denim says, exactly, you need a loan or some try a crowdfund, but don't usually work well. Yeah, crowdfunding is hard because it's like convincing people to commit to your project when it's not done, where it may or may not happen, is a tall order, I think. And it's like, that's why I think a lot of times when they say in order to make the crowdfunding work, you already need a dedicated base. Because it's the whole bystander effect, right? It is less likely for you. It's very hard for strangers to commit to your project if they see the support and see that it's less than 80% fulfilled already. Like, it's easier for me to commit to the payment of the goal, I think, mentally. I mean, I'm just thinking about this. So this is not like research. This is just me talking like based on some assumptions. I feel like people have hard time supporting and crowdfunding something as an individual if they see that the support level already existing isn't already over 80%. You know what I mean? It's like tearing the pieces of, you know, poster before people actually being able to tear it themselves as well. It's hard to trust. They just kind of follow tether. So part of me is like, okay, what if you make the goal lower and fulfill some of that already? And then when people commit, can you increase the target? Are you allowed to increase the target? Or, oh, you know what? That's probably why tier works, where you say, if you fulfill this much goal, do this. If you fulfill this much goal, do this. So if you say releasing the game, you make it so that it's releasing the game itself is pretty low. And then the next level, you make it close enough with the new features where it feels more enticing that maybe people will jump into it more. It's like, oh, it's already releasing. Me buying this is just improving the game that's going to release, as opposed to being like, oh man, this game may not release. Am I going to support this? Like that, there's that difference, right? Ooh. Okay. I'm going to try that out. So for this game, I'm going to try the crowdfunding when it's at a good beta test so that there is a gameplay to show the trust of this game will release, and then start the low end goal pretty low. like the release goal low, and then have some additional feature promised on the scale and see how that works. Maybe. I don't know. Denmal says, I may be jobless in the near future, so not sure what the next step of my life will be yet. It all depends on the economy. That's tough. That's tough. What you can do is you can be a streamer slash YouTube video maker. You know what's funny? I think I do have YouTube figured out. I know the result on my YouTube channel, like subscription level and view count doesn't look promising. It doesn't seem like I know what I'm doing, but in fact, I do know what I'm doing, and I know when videos will do well or not. Sometimes I purposely release videos that I don't think will have high view because I'm trying to serve it for a very specific purpose, or what I call a long tail. But there is this whole thing about like lack of time, right? I can only commit so much time while doing streaming to make videos and make sense of taking certain amount of break in order to release it. And so I make that kind of calls. But if I say, hey, somebody else is making a video and then they have an opportunity to, like, I'm not doing the work, they're doing the work, then I could be like, okay, if you want a viral video with that topic or with this strategy, this is what you want to do, make this, and I can review it. That's like a lot easier. So I feel like, I don't know, if you do end up becoming a content maker, I can be your consultant for free just to see you be better than me. And that benefit of that is me going like, hey, Denmal, by the way, shout me out. Knixus says, I hope things work out for you. That's basically why I'm streaming and developing a game. I recently got dropped to part-time at web dev job because the marketing firm I work for has a lack of work. Hey, job market is kind of rough right now in general. I did notice a tick down on recruiting messages. I mean, I still get them, but still lower. Overall, I think money in the system is definitely suffering at the moment. Entirely. I mean, here's to me hoping that some of my investments will blow up so that I don't have to really go back to work. But, you know, it's the race between eventual success of my investment versus actually running out of money to not be able to partake in that benefit. So I need to find a stopgap. You're gonna see some sponsored videos, by the way, in the next few days, because I'm desperate enough to pick some stuff up. So I accepted some of the sponsor requests. I'm gonna try my best to like make sure it's legit. I mean, it seemed legit and okay enough that I'm not like scamming my viewers. But, you know, life be lifing. What am I looking at? I'm distracted. I'm looking at my email now. Sorry, everyone. Darker says, it's way tough. I have 6 years of experience in web dev, and I have been looking for a job for 1 year. Now I decided to just do something on my own, which I am working on about 12 to 15 hours a day. Yeah. Connexus says, yeah, there's a lot of predatory sponsorships out there, some of which are legitimate, some that are straight up scams. Yeah, the scams are kind of like the rough one to manage. I do try to filter through. So the two that I'm working on, the Twitch, I have a Twitch sponsorship that's coming up, which is a password management, which like I don't use password management because I don't trust those companies to hold my passwords. But you know, I don't know. That's why I asked, like, hey, everybody, do you know about Proton? Does that seem like it's a legit company? I mean, what my research tells me seems like it's pretty legit, but I don't know what their like track records look like. That's one for this Twitch one. For videos, I think I have like the learning platform, which can be less scammy, right? Learning platform, they're just paying flat fee. It's not like reference fee. So that's just whatever. That doesn't feel bad. Yeah. Devil says, yeah, sorry to hear that too. I tried to not to dwell on it so much. I've been working with the company for 11 years, so luckily I get a severance package, which will help me for a bit. Yeah, severance package is always nice. When I got laid off from Google, I was really lucky. I got the 6-month severance package, which was basically you get paid as if you are working for 6 months. And you still get your health insurance and everything. Isn't that crazy? That was really good. Because I think I was one of the first wave. So they were like presenting it to be like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just something we're doing because everybody else is doing it. But now it's like, I think the more recent layoffs are more like, oh, we don't want to lay you off. Can you please quit? Come back to office, everyone. You don't want it? Yeah, you should get out. You should get out. Type of thing. Kinesta says, I'm at 8 years with this company and partially being supported by unemployment because of a program my work is approved on. So I'm barely scraping it by, but it's enough. So I'm looking at the glass as half full and making a game with those extra 20 hours a week I got. Yeah. Fulfilling side job, side hobbies as main, transitioning is not probably bad. Probably not bad is what I mean. It says, BRB, gotta go grab my ramen from the microwave. All right. Have fun with your food. Denimal says, that's better than I get. Haha, I get like 3 months pay and 1 month insurance. Yeah. I mean, it's still something. But especially post-op, that can be a little bit rough. I don't know. Job market is interesting space. It's kind of funny that there's actually... It's annoying how much money there are actually as overall in the system because of all those people who's getting like extra pays in the top, like the big company CEOs and execs. Because you are always thinking like, damn, like if they didn't get those pay raises and then that got spread apart to supplying other jobs, people will be able to keep their jobs. Demo says, I gotta go. I did join the Dread on Arrival playtester, so look forward to helping you test stuff. Bye. All right. Thank you for hanging out, Demo. Bye. Anyways, we're gonna get back in here. So we're gonna find the leftmost. We find the start candidate as a leftmost. I guess we want to center the map. We need some ability to scroll within the map, I think. So what we're saying here, this is a little bit tricky. So we have some components, and I think instead of the space map being control, which it is right now, what if... Okay, hold on. What if we use scroll container that is full rect, so it fills up completely. Scroll mode, don't show the scroll bars because that sounds kind of ridiculous. And then we'll say this is the star map scroll container. Then over here, we basically add the POIs in the scroll container instead. Only thing is that it's... I don't know if it'll work well, because it's a node existing in a control, like a node 2D in a control node. So I don't know if that's going to have some sort of side effects. We'll see. So on generate, it'll be great if it can be contained and then scrolled. I guess I could just have this show for now so I can scroll with the scroll bar and then later fix it so that it doesn't do scroll bar. So one test at a time. We placed it, instead of placing it on, where is it? On the main, we can say star map scroll container, add child, POI display here. Let's test that out real quick. Generate. Okay. Ooh, whoa. Oh, it's like, you can't do audio here. All right, we'll do that later then. Might as well get rid of the audio. I don't see a scroll bar. Let me see. Container star map is a scroll bar. It's contained within the control itself. That's on top. What if it shows? Okay, it's full. There's nothing in here. Seems like everything is over here, potentially, even though the positions are set. Do I have to mask it, potentially? I mean, I almost feel like I want to create a different viewport for it. Let me test something real quick. Like that. And then if I put this one down on 1000. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's impacting the scroll. But if I have control instead, let's say we have a control here. I can't move. All right. Okay. Yeah, it's not going to work. Let's think about this. So what I need is a spread. So scroll container creates a scroll and adjusts it based on the child control and its size. So if I say, hey, this one is 768 by 448, but if I say, oh, well, the child control underneath it, or container, I could even call it a container, but let's call it a container, I guess. So if the child container, right, has the size of, let's say, like 10,000 by 10,000, well, 10,000 is a lot. Let's say 1,000 by 1,000. Then suddenly it's scrollable. So what I actually need to do is add I gotta first make the container be the size of the map, I think. So we gotta trim this down too, I think. Anyways, we'll do a simple version. So we're gonna get rid of this. And this one is going to be map container. And map container will be used as a child container here. And its minimum size should be the size of the generation here. So we'll say, hey, before we start, and let's say, oh, this is the map size. That means before we do anything, the map container's minimum size, custom minimum size, should be the map size, first of all. Hey, Mikori. Hey, long time no see. It's going well. We just finished out the combat part, and we're starting on our star map generation now. Yeah, look, it's working. So we have map, we have a scroll bar. It's going like this. Nice. That's pretty cool. And then we generate a new one. Same thing. It's retained within the space. Mikori says, sorry, been busy. Meant to join in the previous streams. Getting my kitchen remodeled. Yeah, no problem. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. That doesn't bother me. Yeah. I think this is pretty cool. Look at that. Okay. So that also means if I make the space map itself bigger, like this thing. So instead of 768, let's say I made it, I don't know, like 1200 by 500, or actually make it bigger, 800. Then if I generate, we have a bigger map here. Very cool, very cool. And of course, I don't know, we're not going to do the scroll bar thing here, but all right. Let's see. Inquiry says, also just had my Java midterm earlier today and also have my web dev midterm later today. Oh, well, good luck on the midterms. I know school can be stressful. All right. I think this is good. This is good. Technically, I guess I could make it 1200 by 1200, but that might be a little bit too big. Oops. Yeah, that's a little bit too big. So how about we make it vertically challenged? So we'll do 800 here for now. And say that the space control bar for now, we're going to say never show. Never show. And then change the parameters so that it is actually the size of the container for now. And later when we need to scroll, we can scroll it. We have this here. It's perfectly sized right here. So we might have to kind of margin it out a little bit. So we'll say like, hey, this one, you know, container sizing, always have it be shrink center. So it's centered. And then instead of 1200 by 800, let's make it like 1000 by 700. So there's a 50 pixel margin. Increases also, I saw Tron Ares 2 days ago, pretty good. Oh, I kind of wanted to watch that movie. I'm interested. It's good to hear that it's good. That looks pretty good. Does it feel like there's too many points? Should we reduce it to less than 20? I think 20 is okay. Maybe 20 is too much. I don't know. Let's say put one location here and one location here. Some webbing. Maybe it's okay. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Let's connect them. And then we'll see. We'll worry about balancing this out later. We'll do 15 for now. It's meant to be like a hops. So if you have a sector here, like a major point and then major point here, each of these points are one of the combat experiences. One of these until you get to one of these. Does that make sense? Yeah, we made some changes here. I don't know if you were here for our new combat, but yeah. I think that looks okay. Okay, that feels okay. All right. Point generation done. We're going to say that the start has been set. And now that the start is set up, we can put the whole like our ship and thing there too. We need to make connections now. So the connections, the way we've been doing it is by creating this thing called map line. And map line takes the point A and the B and takes information about the distance or about the connections, but that we can change later. All that's actually required is the A and B. So all we need to decide is which ones are connected. Cool. So what is the logic of connecting these in ways that they are kind of graph map / roguelike dungeon crawler, right? And I think this is where Delaunay's triangulation would work. So Delaunay's triangulation is used for deciding which nodes are neighbors. So I'm going to look at its algorithm. I've never actually implemented it. I understand the concept, but I never actually have seen the computational algorithm. So I'm going to read this a little bit. Because the whole point is that, you know, you can make up your own reason, your own ways to like decide the neighbors. But like if you look at this right here, by the way, I'm making a video on this, by the way. If you look at this right here, all these points, like the idea is you want to connect everything everywhere, right? So that it's fully connected if it's in the neighbor. And then from there, you get rid of the connections so that there's only one way to get to any given point, which is also known as a minimum spanning tree, right? So that is a minimum amount of line you require in order to, what do you call? Yeah, it's the minimum number of line required. And then from there, you could make additional lines to make some cycles so that it's a little bit more than minimum, so that there's a little bit like dungeonness. And the whole idea before trimming it down to minimum spanning tree, you have to figure out, for example, this one should be connected to here and here. And these three should be connected. These three should be connected. These three should be connected. And maybe these three should be connected. These three, like that, right? And that whole, what three neighbors are considered neighbors, the definitions are decided by this thing called Delaunay's triangulation. And I made a video. Well, I'm going to make a video. I did the explanation part. The whole concept is that if you draw a circle around 3 points, if there are no points within the circle, is considered Delaunay triangulation, and you're good. So I'm gonna look for some algorithms here. Many algorithms for computing Delaunay triangulation rely on fast operations for detecting when a point is within a triangle circle, an efficient data structure for storing triangles and edges. In 2 dimensions, one way to detect if point D lies in a circumcircle, which is this, is to evaluate the determinant. Whew. I see. When A, B, C are sorted in a counterclockwise order, this determinant is positive only if D lies inside the circle. Oh, that's so easy to understand. But I mean, look, it's basically saying take the resultants of these 3-dimensional vector. If that's positive, then it passes, or it passes. If it doesn't, you flip. So I'm gonna have to look at all these and decide how we're gonna do this. I mean, there may be an algorithm already here. Hold on. Computing algorithm for Delaunay triangulation. Because I mean, I could sit here and try to invent this myself, but I feel like that's too much work right now. Bowyer Watson algorithm. How do you say that? Bowyer? Is it Bowyer or Boyer? I'm gonna say Boyer. How to say Bowyer? How to pronounce Bowyer? Bowyer or Boyer? Let me see what it says. Bowyer. I'm gonna say Bowyer for now, but we'll see. Of course, it says, as just get AI to remake the better algorithm. JK. Yeah, it's just like, do you want AI mode? Maybe. I don't know. There's kind of fun in understanding how the algorithm works, so don't take that fun away from me. All right. Bowyer-Watson pseudocode snippet. So instead of looking at this, let's look at what Bowyer-Watson algorithm is first, shall we? So Bowyer-Watson algorithm for Delaunay's Bowyer-Watson algorithm. And we can take a look at that and see if we can understand. Method for Delaunay of a finite set of points in any number of dimensions. Okay. The Bowyer-Watson algorithm is an incremental algorithm. It works by adding points one at a time to a valid Delaunay triangulation. Okay. So first you need to create a valid triangle first. I don't know how that's going to work. Wait, is it inserting points? Oh. Let's see. First step. Insert a node in an enclosing super triangle. Yes. Insert a node, which will be one of the point of interest. And then we insert a second node. Okay. And then insert a third node. Okay. And then the fourth node. Insert a fifth node. All right. It seems like it's just inserting. It's like it's creating Delaunay triangulation by inserting points as opposed to deciding the triangulation on an existing graph. Is that true? Triangulation, empty triangle mesh data structure. I'm going to look at the pseudocode here. Each point in point list. Add all the points one at a time to the triangulation. If the triangulation is bad, so we're going through each point and see what already exists in the triangulation. First, find all the triangles that are no longer valid due to insertion. Oh, this is going to be interesting. A triangle. Find the boundary of the polygonal hole. Oh yeah, this is so great. It's so easy to understand. Is n squared? I mean, do I come up with my own way? I mean, at least the circle means the bad triangulation can be calculated with the determinant, apparently. Each triangle in bad triangles. Remove the triangle from triangulation. Yes. For each edge in polygon, retriangulate the polygon hole. Okay. So you create a new triangle by choosing some other random point. Okay, so it is like trial and error. It seems. It's just choosing 3 points and say, hey, if it's bad, flip one of the points to another one until it's right. So first of all, n square for creating the right, like correct triangle. The first correct triangle. And then you're just adding new points to it. It doesn't feel that efficient. I'm going to have to read this. Approach the triangulation test. I came across a pseudocode snippet. Yes. Read it until you've got a general idea, but it's not necessary. You can safely skip this section. Point list is a set of coordinate defining the points to be triangulated. Must be large enough to completely contain all the points in the point list. Yes. Add all the points one at a time to the triangulation. So we're going through each point in the graph. And bad triangle starts empty. First, find all the triangles that are no longer valid due to the insert. Oh, I see. So first of all, for each point is creating a triangulation, right? Because if you first insert 3 points, the triangle is valid. It's a valid Delaunay triangulation because there's no other points. But when I insert a new point, does that make that triangle bad now? So it starts with a good triangle, and anytime I add a point, there's a chance of that triangle becoming bad. And if any of those triangles that already exist becomes bad, you do a flip. So you're not going through and starting with a good triangle, like perfect triangle, and then expanding it. You're going from, well, if we had only 3 points, it would be perfect. Add next point. Well, we're going to make a good one out of this. at next point, and then we're going to make a good point out of this and go on and go so forth. Okay, I get that. Let's see how they're deciding if the triangle is bad or not. Right now, it's just saying, hey, inside circumstances. Okay, so we're going to create a new helper function. I think it should be under either utility or the generator. We're going to probably create one that's Delaunay triangulation. And it's going to be a, I guess, ref count it, because it's going to be a helper function. So we'll create a script here. Say Delaunay triangulation. And it's going to be Delaunay triangulation. Ref counted. And I'm thinking the functions here, I guess that's okay. So when it's being initialized, it's going to take an array of variants. Well, technically nodes, I think. Yeah. A 2D nodes, which will be points. Points into triangulation, right? So we'll say, hey, we're working with points, which is some node 2D child, right? I think our POI is what? I think our POI display is a node. No, it's control. Ooh, control is not a node, is it? It's technically a canvas item. Node doesn't have position, does it? Position. I guess it does. Well, I suppose for now we can say this is just node. I don't know if node has. Let me just see if it has position or not. Funk. It doesn't have position. What if I have variant? Does variant have position? No, variant could be like, it could be an int. Ah, this is tricky. This is tricky. You know what? I'm gonna have to make a version that's specific to my thing, unfortunately. But I do think that there's a way to generically do this later. All right, so this one takes in the points, which is an array of some object that is allowed to have a position. And then for connecting, I suppose what it should do, the result of triangulation is, so we'll say triangulate. It'll basically calculate the Delaunay triangulation for the given points and returns, what does it return? It returns the resulting edges. As map line. And for me, map line, the map line object is something that I created, which has information about what it is connecting to. It's basically an edge. So we'll connect the edges and then generate that. Cool, cool, cool. And then we'll basically return some array here so that it doesn't break. I don't know what the warning is here. Ah, right. Confusion. So we'll do this like that. McCrory says, programming in a nutshell, taking something and making it for your own thing. Yeah. I mean, the idea is like, how often do you make it specifically for yourself? Because the thing is, like, if I want to take this and take it to my other project, it's not that difficult for me to just change the type and then redo it and just copy and paste. Versus being like, oh, this is the plugin, I'm going to drag it in and then just use it. So it really depends on how you're planning on using it or how you're trying to upkeep it. But yeah, here we are. So triangulation basically says, first of all, go through every point in points, right? So point will have some sort of position. And the idea was we want to have an array of good triangles right here, triangulation results. So we'll say var triangulation. I guess triangulation is a... How do you define a triangulation? A single triangulation is set of 3 points, probably. So we'll say triangulation will be an array of triangle, which is actually just three objects. I don't know if I need to define this, but technically I could have another one where I just go, we're going to create a resource called triangle or POI triangle. And then, oops, not that actually. We gotta create a script first. Puppy. So I say I create a script called POI triangle, where we say class name for this is POI triangle. And this is just a resource. It contains, I mean, it doesn't even have to resource. It can be references. I guess I could do ref count it, honestly. Ref count it, because it's kind of like semi-resource. Their indicator says, why not call it a node? Why not call what a node? A triangulation node. Okay. We could. Godot already uses the word node for itself to mean something. So like when there's like an overall like naming convention that uses that word for something, I try to avoid it so that it's like, I'm not saying node for triangulation node for this node. And then sometimes like the shorthand for it, when you're making like small variable, you just call variable node, right? When you're just calling that, because in the context of that scope, it's just simple. So I don't know, that would be my reason. Of course, the way I thought about it was having a max distance, then just having all the points connect, compare each line distance on a point and keep it. So that's one way to do it. That's actually one way to do it. Downside to that is you're limited to you're having to adjust what the max distance is in order to make good connection. What if you change your generation so that some of the connections, so it's not as reliable outside of that context. So if your generation result, for example, generates a case where the graph nodes are farther away. Just one exceptional graph node is just outside of that max distance by itself, then it's not going to be able to connect to anything, right? So yes, if you see that, you could be like, okay, well, I can change the parameter so that it never happens. Good, it's simple. But I guess general solution is to use Delaunay's triangulation for many various purposes. Their indicator says triangulation node or something like that. well, this one is a triangle. I'm not calling this a node because this is actually a triangle. It's going to contain 3 points, A, B, and C. So that's why I'm calling this triangulation as opposed to whatever. And then later I can have stuff like a func generated edges, and then that's going to probably do something like return array of map line that draws between these things, and then it probably returns some sort of array. I don't know why it doesn't like this. Oh, POI is POI like that, I think. So for example, so over here, it can be like, oh yeah, this is a POI triangle here. And I'm going to go through each of the points and then do something. I'm going to just follow these like pseudocodes here. And then try to say, oh yeah, some of the things we need here, basically, func is, what is it? We need to decide if the triangle is bad triangle or not, right? So if the point is inside, so we can say, whoa, hydrate. Thanks. Corey, thank you. McCoy says hydration helps the brain think, for sure. Sleep also as well. So a few things we need to decide is that we need to have a function that allows us to say, hey, is triangle Delaunay? And that means we're going to take the point, right? So for each of the triangle, we're providing a point and comparing it to the triangle, which is POI triangle, right? So it'll return a Boolean saying that, hey, it's good or not. So for each of the points, we're going to go through the triangle in triangulation. And if triangulation Delaunay and say, hey, if the point that we're looking at compared to the triangulation or triangle that's already been constructed, if it is Delaunay, then we're good. If it is not, then we want to add this triangle to the bad triangle. So we say var bad triangles as a result. So we have series of good triangles. We're adding a point. Does this point make any of the triangles bad? So now we have a new list of bad triangles, right? So we say, well, we have these triangles. If the new triangle, or if this point that gets added, the point that I'm about to add, makes it so that this is a bad triangle, we're going to add this triangle that we just tested onto a bad triangle list. Darren Decatur, same. POI triangle. POI triangle is triangle of POIs. POI is the node. So yes, technically I could have called the POI as triangulation node. POI as triangulation node. For me, POI is point of interest. And POI triangle is triangle of point of interest. Oh. Where? Oh, over here? Save. Okay. Consistency. You're preaching for consistency. Okay. I got you. I hear you. Thanks for pointing out. Darren Decatur is like, dude, be consistent. I'm like, all right, jeez. I get it. Anyways. Okay. So we're creating a bad triangle list. Okay, my question is, do I take the triangle out of this first or not? I'm going to worry about that later. So now we have list of bad triangles. So that means for bad triangles, we need to triangle in bad triangles. We got to do something with it where we make it good, probably. Where we go, make it good. right? I think that's the idea. Jeez. I think that's the idea. So that means we need logic to make it good, which we will copy and paste somewhere. Let's take a look here. I'm just trying to understand. So if it is bad triangle, we're adding the triangle to the bad triangle. We have an empty set of polygons. Not really sure what that is just yet. Darren DeCurry says, Mikuri says it. I was just triggered by Mikuri being ignored, but it was being true. Oh, whoops. Sorry, Mikuri. Mikuri says the point being POI for class, but POI. Okay. I see you. Appreciate it, everyone. Appreciate it. Sometimes I can't see all the chats. It's just I can't see Mikuri because Mikuri haven't been here in a while. So apparently, like my eye just automatically ignores it. No. Okay, let's try to understand what this pseudocode says. So we have an empty set of polygons. Find the boundary of the polygonal hole. That's really hard to say. Polygonal hole. Let's see what that says. For each of the bad triangles. Music stopped. I'll go back to the top of the music list. Here. Play this. Not the polyhole. It's a polyhole, everyone. What does that mean? Does that mean something? Are youngins saying polyhole for something dirty? Darren DeCare says, it triggered me, but not enough to say something. Mikuri says something and being ignored. It then seemed intentional for triggers. So sorry. No, it's okay. might be. No, it's okay. No, you don't have to be sorry. I'm only kidding when I'm like acting annoyed. This is all valid interactions. Let's see. All right. So each of the bad triangles, we're looking at the edges of the triangle. And if the edge is not shared by any other triangles, oh, that check's going to be annoying. If the edge, so it's taking a triangle and it's saying, hey, here's an edge for the bad triangle. Is this edge anywhere else? Yeah. Any other bad triangles, then we have to add this edge to the polygon. We got to be like, hey, this edge is bad. Wait, why? Why does it check for if it is shared by anybody else? Find the boundary of the polygonal hole. Why don't you just add it? Edge is not shared by, so edges in the triangle, check if this edge is anywhere else. Oh, it needs to be unique. So it's picking out all the edges that are not shared by any other bad triangles. Okay. So unique edges only. So if it's shared, we're trying to prioritize keeping it. Kind of makes sense. Hey, thanks for the gift. Archive's just like giving away. Remove from the data structure. Okay, so we go to the we loop through the bad triangles again. Hey, thanks for the follow, Dare Indicator. I guess you like seeing me confused. Appreciate it. Can't complain. So we go through the triangle in the bad triangle and we remove that. Okay, so we are finally removing it from the triangle collection. Then we try to retriangulate. We're trying to retriangulate the polygonal hole, the poly hole. We're going to call it poly hole from now because it's really hard to say polygonal hole. So we're going to retriangle the hole. We're going to remake the hole. it just okay, I'm just a child when it comes to okay. Darren DeCare says, no, I like the coding atmosphere around here. I appreciate that. Thank you. Darren DeCare said, I feel comfortable and it's in my interest. Great. You know, part of this exercise is good because I'm working on a dungeon generation tutorial, and the next one is the corridor connections of different dungeon rooms. And part of the logic is the whole neighbor detection through Delaunay's triangulation. So it's good that I'm taking this time to learn this. It might be a fun devlog as well, actually. Like talking about the logic. All right. Anyways. So we're removing the triangle from the actual triangulation. And then we go through the bad edges, the edges that we isolated. And we want to do something with these edges. Create a new triangle. Form a triangle from bad edges. Ooh, interesting. What does that mean? It's taking the bad edges that are not shared. And form a triangle. Okay, so this part is kind of confusing for me. Creating a new triangle. Form a triangle from edge to... Oh. It's creating a triangle with the bad edge plus the new point that's being added. Interesting. Let me think about this. Right. Because bad edge happened. All right. I might have to draw this out to help me understand. I kind of need to understand this a little better if I'm going to explain this to people, I think. Oh. Hepta, hello. Hepta says sexy hair. Is it? It's a little long, isn't it? I need to get a haircut. Darren Decatur says, I have another site that may explain it better. It's okay. I mean, this one is not really explaining it. This one is just showing what do you call the pseudocode. I just like to visualize it. I like hands-on experience. So sorry if link is not working. You can share it, I guess, DM McCory or something. Hey, first is already taken. Sorry, Semikins. Hepta says, what conditioner do you use? I use a custom shampoo and conditioner called Prose, Prose. If you go to the website, you can put in your like hair condition and then the type of environment. And also you put in the region you live in. And it takes in the pH level of the water, the faucet water that they measure from that location and uses that to adjust the shampoo and conditioner's pH level. Sebikin says, I'm so first. Yeah, no, 3 hours into the what do you call stream, you're the first. It's been claimed. Look, you know who has it? Where is he? Sebikin. Wait, how did you take it? Oh, it got taken because I crashed. My stream crashed and nobody took it. Wow, Semikins, you really snatched that. Darren DeCare says no. Another website. Hepta says, WTF, you got a customized shampoo. It's not that expensive. It's just a custom order. But it's fun. Go take a look. Prose. Prose. Shampoo. Kinexus says, whoa, that's a lot. Is it? Oh, you mean like the little hair thing? Chris says, we're all first. Yes. Semkin says, I'm totes my goats first. Darren Ticket says, BrendaWinder.com 2025 delay. Leave out the white space, put HTTPS in front. How about this? I do this. I can Google search like that and say Delon. This one, right? Ooh, this is better. I don't have to draw myself. Okay. Let's take a look. I mean, there's kind of fun in trying to parse what the pseudocode is saying. But I guess if we're using already existing explanation, it just doesn't feel like I'd figured it out. No, it's okay. I didn't figure it out anyways. Somebody already figured it out. Okay. Super triangle. We consider a new point. Visual check. Too many words. Okay, I guess I actually have to read this. All right, what I am after, fairly simple. Let's illustrate with the example. Suppose we have 5 points. Yes, yes. APC isn't the only valid super triangle. Many other triangles, some smaller, some larger, would do the job. Yeah. Start by finding the circle that contains all the points, which is not too complicated. So draw a circle and have ABC there. Their indicator says, well, you have another article, but yeah. You have the super triangle, not the Delaney-Bowyer Watson algorithm. Oh. Is Bowyer algorithm faster? Well, it says it's Bowyer-Watson. This one is. Oh, McCurry, thanks. Oh, okay. Oh, there it is. Cool. Thanks. Indicator. Kinexus says, you're telling me my 5-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, body wash, lotion, toothpaste isn't taking account the need of my hair. Surely spoken like a programmer. Okay, let's take a look. Implementing the algorithm, pseudocode that we're talking about, found the boundary of polygonal hole, remove them. I mean, I think we understood this part. So we're saying add the point, make the triangle. If that point makes any of the existing triangle bad, go look at the bad triangles and take out the edges that are not shared by any other bad edges, so unique edges, and use that to connect it to the new point and retriangulate, right? We got to that point, but I'm just like wondering why this part. Like, what does this do actually that guarantees it theoretically? So I see the... Oh, okay. Like, I see the algorithm. I just want to see what that's visually doing, I think. Right? So update 3. This is a result of the algorithm. So step 3 is remove them from the data structure. So step 3 and 4 is where I just kind of want to visually confirm what is actually happening. We don't need to remove anything because we already extracted the good triangle in step 1. All that is left to do is step 4, create a triangle for each unique edge. Each unique edge. Okay. Unique edge being edges that are not shared by any other triangles. Connecting it to the point we're adding. I think I understand. So once again, I think we do need to draw it out. Well, at least I need to draw it out because I need to understand what's happening. So if we have a triangle and then we add a point and we say, oh, this is a bad point, right? What we're doing is basically getting an edge and drawing a new triangle like this, right? And getting this edge, which is not shared by anybody else, and then drawing it like this, which makes it so that this triangle is not Delaunay, this triangle is Delaunay, this triangle is Delaunay, right? What happened? Hold on. Is there a case for when if the point is not messing up the triangle, if the point is not creating a bad triangle? So we have a bad triangle, find the boundary of the polygonal hole. So for the polygon starting from empty set, for each triangle in bad triangle, so we're going through, but if the bad triangle is empty, what happens? We remove it. And then for each edge on polygon, create a new triangle. Well, if the point is good, when is it being added? point is only getting added if it's bad. Is that true? Now that we have function, I see. It'll always overlap. Okay. So it'll always be bad. A single point will always be bad if you create a super triangle that surrounds all the points. So you do need to create a super triangle. And I suppose, how do you choose a super triangle? What is the logic behind creating this super triangle then? Let me take a look. Add all the points one at a time to the triangulation, yeah. The algorithm starts with a valid triangulation, the initial super triangle, right? So how do we create that super triangle? Is there a boundary? How do you create that super triangle? Hello? And super triangle doesn't necessarily contain. I mean, theoretically, I guess, if you have a bunch of points, the super triangle needs to be far enough where this sloping line, considers this bounding box, I suppose. So for any group of points, we can have a bounding box. And we want to make sure this edge and angle that cuts through here. Well, it needs to be bigger than that, though. Let's take a look at the super triangle logic that we saw earlier. What I am after here is fairly simple. Given a collection of points on the plane, find 3 points, the super triangle that encloses every point. Yes. ABC isn't the only valid super triangle. Yes, there are many other. Hey Void, welcome, welcome. The thought went something like this. What if instead of a circle, I could find... Okay, so they're also representing the area as square that contains all the points. Would that help me find a triangle enclosing all the points? As it turns out, yes, right? So I was saying the same thing where if I can find a square / rectangle, I mean, this is a rectangle, then the top corners are the boundaries of that, and then bottom line is the line. So we can extend the bottom line where Voice says, how's research going? It's going well. We're just trying to figure out how to do Delaunay's triangulation algorithm programmatically. And Delaunay's triangulation is for neighboring points. Starting from yellow square like above. Well, why are they claiming that it's a square? I guess you could guarantee a square if you draw a square. So even if it's a rectangle boundary, if it's rectangle, you can take the longer edge and expand the height to make it a square. Yeah. And so it's saying that this is isosceles, and you can... If we know that this is isosceles, then this triangle, this triangle, this triangle, this triangle is all identical, right? That's a rule of isosceles triangle. If you cut it like that in the halfway point, that means the height of this, the C point should be from the center exactly double, I think, right? And from the double point, it crosses perfectly over to this edge. And so from here to here, we can find the slope. And from that calculation, we can extend that line all the way to where y equals 0, I think. Yeah, that might work. Yeah, the altitude has the same length. Oh, yeah, it says that right here. The altitude has height same length as the square. So it goes up double the amount of the square. So if we find a square, we can find first point on the center of double the height. The base has the same length as a square. So we go halfway to the left and halfway to the right. Okay. I see. I get it. I get it. Okay. So first we got to find the binding square. Binding square is easy to find, right? The rectangle. And then we just double it. So we say from the points, from the triangulation points, we say func binding square, get binding square of the points, which will be rect2, right? Darren DeCare says, if you take the lowest x and the highest x, you can get both a and b x coordinate by... yes, you can. You still need to find the leftmost and rightmost. And whatever is longer needs to be... Because in order to fulfill this fact of like it being a rectangle or square... But I don't need to like do it middle. Like I just need to find it and then lengthen the rectangle or widen the rectangle based on if it is wider or taller to make the square. And then you have a resulting square. So you need to find both the highest, lowest, most left, and most right. Right? Right? So what you're looking for is top most left and bottom most right. Most top, most left, most bottom, most right. All separately, right? So if we have a resulting rectangle here, I think we could even do it like this. And we go through point and points. And then we say, hey, look, results position, right? Dot x is considered the leftmost. And result dot position y will be the topmost. And then result size dot x would be the most right. And result dot size y would be most bottom. So we can do those kind of extremity, I think. Darren DeCare says, no, you say leftmost x is boundary box and rightmost x is the other end. If you take the difference and go that difference, you have 3 times the length for the edge that the leftmost and rightmost point describe. Peace says, hi, Ezra. Hi, Peace. Hold on. Let me try to understand what Darren DeCare is saying. Leftmost x is boundary box and rightmost x is the other end. If you take the difference... go that difference, you have 3 times the length for the edge. What? What do you mean I go that difference? You have 3 times the length for the edge. You have 3 times the length for the... I'm not saying go to that distance immediately. The total should be double, which means you go halfway bounding box on each point for the super triangle. I understand that part. Unless... yeah, sorry, Darren Indicator. I'm unable to understand what you're trying to communicate. But I feel like I understand what needs to happen here. So let me try to figure it out, and then if I'm really confused, then I'll ask for help again. P says my energy is low today, so no hollow. Hello, senpai. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. Sometimes we have low energy. I think I'm going to be here for another 30 minutes before ending the stream, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. So we say point X. Point is a POI, and we say, does it have a position? I think so. Say point. Oh, there's a point. Oh, I hate that this doesn't automatically type it for me. It's going to have a position, so it's okay. Point X and point position Y. And basically, if point position X is less than results position X, then we're going to say result position X equals to point position X. And if point position Y is result position Y, then result position Y equals point position Y. And then if point position X is greater than result size X, then we say result size X will equal to point position X. And then if point position Y is greater than result size Y, result size Y equals point position Y. So this one creates a rectangle. So I mean, I could just do this to start. I think this might be okay. Okay, hold on. Weird Voice says, confused Ezra, a rare sight indeed. No, I'm confused all the time. The indicator says point A equals new point A dot X equals, there's just too many symbols. Low X and high X. AY would be low Y. Point B equals new point. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. Essentially, that's what I'm doing. It's just because either way, in order to do what you're doing, their indicator, yes, you're saying this is what the super triangle is. What I'm doing is I'm taking the steps. So you're doing everything all at once, right? You're saying if it is low point, do the doubling. If it's a high point, do the half step. I get that. What I'm trying to do is doing that by creating the bounding rectangle first, because I want to understand this, right? So we have a resulting binding square. So what I'm saying is we're going to create the super triangle, right? So say get super triangle now instead of doing the bounding square. So we have a binding square, and then we're going to now create a super triangle. Let's say, I don't know, vector. For example, I mean, I guess I could make a POI for this one too. So array POI or POI triangle. This would be actually array of POI, right? Whoa, what the heck? And we have a resulting thing. Basically, what I need now is POI triangle new. Our triangle. And then the triangle's extremities are basically same as what you were saying. Point A, the top point, is the double height and middle point of this bounding rectangle. So the A would be POI. Can I just do new, or do I have to instantiate? I'm gonna have to instantiate this. Kind of hate that this is what I'm doing, actually. I wish it was just information about the vector, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll figure it out. So let's say I do something like this for now. Darren Dekir says, all right, I'm going to head off now. For me, is actually pretty late. Oh, I see. So if you have VODs on, I'm going to check that out, how it went, and see you next time maybe. Bye, Chad. Bye, Darren Decatur. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for the follow. See you next time. So what we're going to do here, we got POI here. POI scene, actually. Let's call it POI scene. And so this POI scene will be an instantiate here. So we're going to do this for every one of them, and we're just going to decide on this position separately. So go boop, boop. We create a new one for ABC. And then say, hey, you know what? Triangle A's position, right, will equal to the double height. So we're going to do, whoops, will be vector 2 of something and something. Well, why we know that the bounding rectangle, which we renamed it as result, bounding rectangles y position, because y position on the top, right? So we say y position, bounding rectangles positions dot y, right, times 2. We're doubling it. But then it needs to, so up is negative. So we go from the position. It's already negative number, so doubling will be negative number as well, so it's okay. The x position is in between the rectangle bound, right? So it needs to be the bounding rect x minus bounding rect, or I mean position or size x minus position x divided by 2, right? So that's, if you have a square, halfway xy's and then double the height. So that's point A. Point B. Point B is a vector 2 of something. It's at the bottommost. So it's y is the lowest, meaning it's just, I kind of messed this up actually. Hold on. Because rectangle is a height, not the position itself. You know what? It's okay though. I'm just using it as an information holder. I mean, technically I could say, well, okay. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. I'm using it as an information holder. It's not an actual rectangle. I misnamed it by calling it rectangle. It's just like for position holder as opposed to rectangle. Yeah. Because we're not... Because technically, we've been saying that the size x... Oh. We've been assigning size x as the position itself, not the height and the width. So if I actually want to call it rectangle, I have to correct it afterwards. But I don't need to correct it because I just need the position. The bounding size x is actually position x of the bottom right. So bad naming or like bad usage of this, but I'm just using it as an information holder. So I think we can get by. So what we're saying is bottommost y value is bounding rect size y, because we already assigned it. We just kind of straight up assigned it. And then the b to the left would be basically here. triangle size, actual triangle size is, hold on, var, not triangle, rect size will actually be a vector 2 of bounding rect size minus bounding rect position. This is actually the size of it. So I would say like, oh, you know, divide that by 2. And then minus that from the position. So rect bounding rect x. Like so. This one doesn't like it. Oh, it's because it's not. Hold on. Like so. POI triangle and current scope. Why? Oh, it's POI triangle. Yeah. And then it's saying that the identifier bounding rect not declared in current. Whoa. It's right here. What do you mean? Did I misspell it? Oh, I did misspell it. Oops. Can I find member X on the rect 2? Oh, it's position X. Yeah. Position X. And then the C's position is exactly the same, except we're going from bounding rect's size, because size is just means rightmost. It's not plus Y like that. Where voice is for how long, though, of it isn't necessary. You can name it the right way. Yeah. So I think this is the triangle. Do I draw the triangle? So this will be the super triangle of the points. Let me try to draw the super triangle to see how it looks. Yeah. So we have this thing called Delaunay triangulation ref count it. And then I can call this get super triangle thing and then draw it. And then we can move on. I think it's about time. So we'll see. Let's just confirm this super triangle to be drawn correctly. So when we're clicking generate, when we click generate, we hover here and we create a bunch of points. And then I want to draw or add the super triangle real quick. So we'll say, well, we have these, what do you call BSP nodes. We add it to the map container here. So technically, I guess I could just say get children. So I can say get children, and that would be the BSP nodes. It might yell at me for being like, hey, you can't do that. I mean, technically I could just do this like var POI list and just add it to this real quick for now, for this purpose of this exercise. And then POI list, we can call the not BSP, we're calling that the Delaunay triangulation, new, provide this triangulation helper. And then from there, we can say get super triangle, which we don't actually need to do, but we'll do it anyways. Void says, by the way, as quick one, I got a new project from my boss. We're going to be handling really important medical data and wanted to ask what is the safest way to store and access them when building an app around it. Oh, that's a tricky question. I don't want to be liable for this. Medical data. I mean, that's a hard one, because if it's like anything like password, you never want to actually save the information, but only save the verification, right? But in this case, you need to actually retrieve it, right? You actually need to retrieve the information and show it to the user. So you can't just work for validation. I suppose encryption is needed so that the raw format of the data is not easy to read. But that's the data store. The retrieval logic, you definitely need permission control. And I think storing it encrypted is definitely a base, but in your code, the accessing of the data should only happen in a one accessor, and then you need to provide the salt of the user to validate if it's allowed to access that. That means you need to start identifying each user with their role. You might want to use IAM, actually. I don't know if you are using AWS, but basically that's what IAM is for. So like the role is being controlled. I mean, you just kind of need to have a secure way of controlling who gets to see it, who gets to access it, and who gets to edit it. It's the headache of like, you need definitely like tight permission list, like permission tokens for writers, admin writers, readers. Like, so read write access needs to be separate, obviously. And then you need rules. You need a permission rules somehow system that handles given a user. Yeah. I mean, you definitely need some sort of rule-based system where given a requester, you need to first, you need to securely retrieve the role of the user who's requesting, the role tokens. And then you got to decide, is this user allowed to access this? Is this user allowed to write this? If not, is this role allowed to access this? And is this role allowed to overwrite it? I think that might be it. The real security comes in the whole, like, how are you determining the roles? And you got to make sure that the role doesn't come from the payload. You never want to provide the role to be injected by the requester. The confirmation of the role or retrieval of the role needs to happen internally. You don't want to be like, here's an API, you define the user and its role. Because then, I mean, this is fundamental, like pretty elementary. I'm sure you already thought of it. You want to make sure that the API endpoint the implementation itself never relies on the parameter provided by the users directly to permit the data access. You need to decide that internally. I mean, that's the main thing. Because the avenue of attack, it would be if I'm injecting an API call, if I'm forcing an API call. Ooh, there are several things. So first of all, API access, API needs to be private, so it needs to only come from internal systems or your software. One. Yeah. Yeah, there are a few things like that. It's just general API protections. Good luck. You definitely need a bunch of system for validation, role system, eligibility system, data accessor system, I think. And it's a separate conversation to be like, what's the best way to encrypt this? Because you don't know, you're talking about like commonly used, fast versus secure and slow. So Void says, thanks. Yeah, no problem. And that's my opinion. I don't know. You probably know better. This is me without research. Okay, so if I do get super triangle, I get a triangle. So I'll say var super triangle. See up the super triangle. Yeah, you need a careful planning, and you need to have a group review with your team. And you might need multiple system, like overall architecture, and then the detailed architecture is a separate meeting. We're going to add the new POIs to this. I don't know if it actually creates it. I want to verify this triangle, that's all. And then let's create 3 edges. So we'll say our super edges will be array of map line. And then for this one, I want to just create map line. Oops. So we'll create a map line here. And we'll instantiate this. So, I mean, I wouldn't normally do it this way, but I'm just trying to do this quickly. So we'll instantiate 3 of them. And then basically manually edit each one of them. Very bad. But once again, I just want to finish and be done with the stream so I can go eat. So don't yell at me. Don't yell at me for all the hard coding. I swear I'm going to change it later. I promise. Hopefully this will do. Then for edge and super edges, a map container, net child, super edges. Or yeah. The size of this container might be impacted though. I might have to make this really big. Container, map size. I'll make this a double the size. Yeah, double the size, and then shift everybody. Oof, this is getting trickier and trickier. So POI list here, we're pushing back POI list. POI display is here, and then we already set its position. Instantiate position is this. I think we want to shift it down. We will shift it down by offset and map offset. I want to define the map offset to be map offset to be 2 of at least, yeah. Offset it by, all right, hold on. Vector 2 of map size x divided by 4, because that's double the size. Then we're going to say map size y divided by 2 will be the offset. So we're shifting all the points down a double amount and then halfway up like that. And then super triangle will also... So I offset at this position, so there's going to be a new one. And we'll draw it. Well, we'll see. I don't know. This might or might not work. We'll see. Whoa. Oh, yeah, that's the wrong one. Hey, Freddy. Good evening, y'all. Welcome, welcome. Okay. What's going on here? I'm actually about to be done too. Freddy, have you seen our most recent updates on the combats? A lot of pieces here, by the way. We got this. So when we start it, you can click on this. Obviously, none of them has sound, by the way. You can click on the crew, and they have a little action. And then you can click on the space station in the ship. They have all different actions. And you can move with each one of them. And then maybe even fire. Oh, I just powered it off. If I end turn, you can see that the enemy ship is firing there, some explosion there. If I power on the shield, and let's say I shield the navigator here, and I happen to run into the rock, sometimes it hurts. Then I'm going to shield weapons. Yeah, like that. Little shield effect happens if the shield takes effect. And then I can launch a missile. Like that. Or another mode we have is this like minefield. Basically, if I move, obviously it triggers and explodes type of thing. And then you can see the space station gets destroyed. People get hurt. There's some visual indicator. So yeah, I mean, that's the vibe of the combat so far. So hopefully that helps you inform. Freddy says, these animations are gorgeous. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Interesting. Still placeholder. It's going to be even better. Yeah. Freddy says, I don't think I have. It's been a minute. Yeah. Well, good. You're up. You're all caught up. Okay. I'm not really confident that I'll be able to resolve this before the time is up for me. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna get rid of this thing so I can actually scroll through and see. Let's do a little test here on the generate. Generate. So we are creating these things. So I want to come over here and see what the resulting positions are actually. I'm also surprised that the edges are not being visible. We'll see. Have container edges. Okay. So let me look at the edges. Super edge. There are 3 items. Point A. Oh, is it because it's missing a POI info? Like, can't draw itself if it doesn't have any information? Maybe. I don't really say what the positions are, though. 0, 0. Ooh. Okay, those are wrong, then. The triangulation information seems pretty wrong. They're all at 0, 0. Why? I'm going to come over here. And look at this. Well, bounding rect was at 0. Can I not change these positions? Let's see this. Doop. Freddy says, am I right in thinking the combat playtest data has moved? I've been working on Jam, so I'm out of the loop. Oh yes, the date has been moved. So on Monday was the quote-unquote due date, but we basically ran through what we have and where we want to be. So the combat itself is done, but I don't think I want to test that yet. I want to add this like map aspect, so there's like sense of upgrading, navigating, and facing different challenges as part of the gameplay. So we did some estimation and decided that the next target goal is December 8th now. Still, audio is not part of the goal yet, but you know, that's above the line. If you can reach that, that's fine. So we have this as kind of the part of the new date. So it gives us a little bit more time, but between holidays and everything, I have a feeling that it might. Okay. So the problem right now is that I see that when the triangulation is called, all of these like bounding stuff is not reading. Like it's not reaching those like things. So I think we might have some problem with the points. Oh, it's not even coming in here. What the heck? Is it not being called? For some reason it's not being called. Let me see. This is POI, array of POI. So I feel like strange. So let's come over here. Freddy says, yeah, I get you. Good to have the context for the combat. Good. I hope that was helpful. It's exciting. It's exciting. Oh, it's empty. Wait, why is it? Hello? Okay, so I messed up somewhere where the list is empty. POI list. Oh, I'm... Of course. That's why. Or maybe this will be better. Okay. I'm going to just let it run through here. Okay. I think, okay, so at least there's one point here that's part of the triangulation. And there's another point here, part of the triangulation. And then I don't see the leftmost point, and that might be because it's out of bound. But either way, I don't know why the map line is not being visible. Oh, I have to do this like that. For example. So it returns a triangle. It seems like it's returning a correct triangle, but I do want to draw that line. So I want to make sure that the lines are visible by default. Something about the line is not working. When the A and B is set up collision. I'm not really sure what that's for. Process. When is it drawing that line? Huh. Oh yeah, this is for... Well, this is a line. Shouldn't line... I thought it auto draws it. I guess it not. Oh no, there it is. Okay, so setup collision is the thing. So I need to call that for the lines. Apparently. I just want to see the lines draw. It seems like it's working. It seems like the triangulation is working so far. But I just need to verify visually. Mathematically, it seems like it's seemingly working. So for the edges, after setting it up, we'll make sure we call the setup collision thing. Hey, thanks for the follow. Taka Taka. Welcome, welcome. Perfect timing because I am about done for today. Just as a reminder, everybody, I do stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's my stream schedule. No promises on when, but that's generally like what time is a little bit inconsistent during the Pacific Northwest work hour. All right, look at that. Everything is within the triangle. So we have a super triangle. I mean, we could even make it so that it's like has a little margin. Look. Generate another one. Oh, whoops. Ah, shoot. Of course, it should be every day. I would, but you know, I still am trying to make videos and do other things at the same time. Okay, so it is drawing the triangle correctly. It's offsetting everything correctly. It's just that I have a point that's out of bound of this display, which is a separate issue. Okay, this one is broken right here. This might be an offset issue. So I'll take a look. It's close. It's close. If we add a little bit of padding, I think it'll definitely work. Yeah, this looks okay. Yeah, cool. It definitely is an offset issue because you can say that the top should be over here. You know what? Let's once again, I pointed at the monitor as if you guys can see what I'm looking at, my fingers and everything. If only. I think we can do the offset thing here. So we can offset. So each position has been offset. I feel like I drew the triangle based on the offset. I don't know. It's just the X. X seems shifted over. Yeah, we'll figure that out later. You know what? It's okay. We'll figure that out later. This is a good stopping point. Thanks. Freddie says, yeah, I get you. No, I saw that already. Well, all right, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm going to head out now. Let's raid out real quick. It is getting a little warm. I need to write some sponsored messages for my next video. So I got some work to do. All right, where should we go? Where should we go? Hey, Incredible. I never seen Incredible stream before. I feel like we need to go there. One of our viewers, right? Gotta support the viewers. Scream Gem 2025 is also a Unity developer, but let me know how Incredible is. I never heard Incredible's actual voice. Okay. Oh, I hear it. All right. Wow. Okay, it does have it. They're an actual ball, yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Good to see you all again. I'll see you on Friday. All right. Goodbye. And of course, YouTube. Freddie, sorry that you just stopped by and I'm already leaving.